Hello and welcome back to the Blues Focus podcast with me, Tommy Kelsall, Zach Woods and Jamie Lawler. Good evening, lads. How are you?
Well, good, thank you. Very good, very good. Can I just say, set up beautiful. You smashed it, Tommy. It's looking unreal, mate. Unreal.
Thank you very
Killing
much,
it.
man. It's looking great. The rebrand is looking great. Oh, and it's not really a rebrand, is it? It's more of a refresh of what
Yeah.
the podcast and the channel's going to look like for the foreseeable future, really. Yeah, what do you think to the new logos? I'm a massive fan of them all. I haven't done them
Yeah.
myself. Shout out to Adam, who's the big man behind all Blues Focus.
It does look class, to be fair. I think the logos are it's still very bluesy whilst being
Mm.
a bit different and a bit unique. So yeah, I think it all looks great.
Let's get into today's podcast. Today we will be reflecting on the Wigan draw yesterday. We were ahead. Janino Bacuna put us ahead brilliantly from a free kick. Jack was very confident he was going to score, which he did. Caught that on the blog. We'll also be looking ahead to the Rotherham game. I've got some pretty interesting seats for that game, so I'll be talking more about that in the podcast, and also talking about some of the players and staff who might be under the cosh in the next few games if we don't win. Obviously, Scott Hogan missed a penalty yesterday, and also John Eustace, is his job still under threat after yesterday? And what does his future look like at the Blues? So, guys, where do we start with this one?
What of the absolute circus that's Birmingham City, where I wouldn't even know. You didn't even mention the training ground on fire, mate.
Oh,
I
of
forgot
course.
about that.
I
The
completely
whole
forgot
place
about
on
that.
fire. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, in terms of Wigan, I just don't think I don't think it was the best performance looking back. I think in terms of a few comments Eustace made after the game, saying did he say we deserve to win? Is that what he said?
I'll bring up the quote now. I don't think he said
Yeah.
that exactly, but he was positive, that's for sure.
Positive, and like I think we've brought it up before. I think it's good to be positive after games, but then there's sometimes you can tell when it's a little bit false. And I think 29% possession. I think we had 28% possession against who are second bottom Wigan. I mean, it's not a loss, which is good. If we'd lost that would have been disastrous, and I could have potentially see Eustace having gone yesterday if we had lost. But I think the fact we escaped with a point, I think the early goal really helped. It has made it a bearable result, but again, not the best performance in the world. But I mean, a point, we'll take it. We need anything we can get at the moment, don't we?
Jamie?
Same. I completely agree with Zach. It's really difficult at the minute, isn't it? Like you're going 1-0 up away from home 5 minutes in against bottom of the league. Surely at that point you have to be ruthless and just go and get the jugular. Go for two, go for three. But instead we had probably 20, 25 minutes of playing good, holding the ball, going forward. But we just again flat back five, middle three, sat there, let them come on to us with pressure, and there's just we looked devoid of ideas again. We didn't really. We just literally looked to play the counter attack against bottom of the league, and that's not how you should be playing. I don't care if you're away from home against bottom of the fucking league. Don't do it. Like, just don't
I
sit
agree.
there
Yeah.
and then get confused when
Mm.
you've conceded and it's 1-1 and go, oh, I didn't expect that coming. When they've pulled about 14 low
Yeah.
crosses into the box in about 10 minutes, you're asking for trouble.
No, we really were at that point because we were sitting off, like you say. I don't think the counter-attacking was the big issue. I think it was definitely the fact that we were quite, I don't know, like we were submissive, I would say, because it was like we weren't really, like you say, going for the jugular, trying to kill the game off. Which we really should have done in the first half, really, because we had that early goal through Bacuna, brilliantly taken, and then we had a couple of chances afterwards. We got straight back onto them. Chong won the ball back and got running at them. But then in the second half, I don't know whether we just lost a bit of stamina or anything, but like we just didn't seem to have the same intensity in the first half. And the first half wasn't even that good, to be honest. It was a little bit flat here and there. But what we really needed to do was to get that second goal. And when we sat back and then just waited for them to come and wait for those crosses to come into the box, I mean, it was mad. It was so frustrating as well. Because it wasn't like we were the better side. It was like Wigan just offered no threat. When they did finally score, it was like, I mean, we just welcomed it on. We were really our biggest enemy yesterday, and it was just frustrating. Really, it was what we needed to have done was killed off the game. We sat back, we were submissive, we didn't do anything in the second half, and it was drop points in the end.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I think we're so. I said it last time. We're so flat at the moment. There doesn't seem much of a game plan. I think almost a bit confusion going 1-0 up. It's like, what do we do now? And naturally the Blues way, because we're set up so defensive, we just sit back and let teams attack us. And I hate it when we do that because it's inevitable teams are going to score. I think fair enough for the last 5-10 minutes, sit back, defend, all bodies behind the ball. But when you do it so early, it's just inviting pressure, and it's almost just attack versus defense for the next 70-80 minutes, and you just know eventually they're going to get their goal. I wish we looked like A, we had a game plan, B, we weren't so defensive, because we've been such a defensive team for years. I just wish we had a few players in that team just to bring a little bit of energy, a little bit of a spark, because everyone just. I'm not faulting the players' work rate and efforts, because I think all throughout this season we have looked like we do work hard in games. I think we just lack quality sometimes. But I just think we need a bit more of a spark, someone who will just pick up the ball and take on 2-3 players. Because I think Chong does it on the odd occasion. Obviously, Kedra's a bit hit and miss at the moment as to whether he can play or not. We just need someone with a bit of energy, a bit of spark to take on players and push us up the pitch a little bit, because at the moment it's just sit back and defend for our lives, no matter the score, really.
And that's partly what infuriated me yesterday. This is going to sound really ridiculous, but yesterday felt like a loss. It really did feel like a loss to me, because I was like, we're winning, we've missed a pen, like he's not saved it, we've missed a penalty. I was like, come on, like this goes on to earlier in the season when we're away at Hull and we win 2-0. We go straight for him again after half time when we're 1-0 up. Go for the jugular, get the second goal. We need to start doing that again. You cannot sit off at 1-0, especially in the Championship, because one moment you're back to where we were yesterday. We were too defensive, in my opinion. You know, from what I could hear and see, you know, we're punting the ball up and Scott Hogan's on the edge of the 18-yard box defending, and Jukovic. I'm like, well, how are we going to go forward if all our players are within 20 yards of each other? Like, what kind of defensive block? Everyone wasn't properly in position. Everyone just looked confused yesterday. These are just things I'm hearing and seeing. And you're right, Zach. We do need someone who can just pick up the ball and burst forward a bit with a bit of pace. I would have brought Kadra on 15 minutes earlier yesterday, because I was just screaming for it. Just screaming for someone who's just got some bottle, who can just run forward with a bit of pace and just attack that back line. We're good when we attack.
Yeah. Was Hull our best away performance this season?
I think in terms of... Obviously, we've had some great away performances, but I mean, in terms of complete football match, I'd say so. We got the 2-0. We could have made it 3, but Troy missed the pen. Still don't talk about that. It's still somewhere in space, that levitating. But we shut them down. We never looked in threat. Ruddy made that beautiful save at the start of the game. And they're the kind of performances that we should be doing. We've got such class in this team. It is dotted around there. There are, some decent footballers.
It is in there, yeah.
It's infuriating.
Yeah, I thought Blackburn away, the 2-1 loss. I thought we were superb Blackburn away, but didn't get the result. But in terms of a complete away performance and result, the 2-0, the clean sheet, the great performance. You got all three there. Yeah, I'd say Hull away. Yeah, Preston away. We've had some. Look, pre-World Cup we were superb, and I said it at the time. The World Cup has come at the worst time for us, and it had, because it killed the momentum. And since coming back, we've been diabolical, and don't care what anyone says, we've been dreadful. There's no two ways about it. So I mean, in terms of the penalty, you touched on it there, Jamie. Do you think Hogan should have taken it or someone else?
No, as soon as I heard Scott Hogan's picked up the ball, I instantly knew. And I know that's really horrible to sound. I should never doubt a Birmingham City striker, but he'd been so poor of confidence. He's so out of it at the minute. And I thought Bakuna should have took it. He's already scored the free kick. He's won the penalty. He's clearly the one who's creating stuff for us yesterday. Let him hit it. You want a confident spot kicker at that point, or give it Duke? The man has been the shadow of himself since the World Cup. He needs a rest, and he just doesn't look confident. You can't put the pressure on him at 1-1, because this was always going to happen. I like Scott, I do, but I think he needs to either rest, be out of the team for a little bit or something, because he doesn't look at it. I do think it's unforgivable to not put a penalty on target, especially as a striker. I'm sorry, but I don't care if you toe poke it down the middle and the keeper just grabs it. That's fine. It's on target. It's got a chance of going in. Don't hit the post. Don't put it wide. Come on.
See, I'm quite different to you, Jamie. I think Hogan should have taken it, and I think my reasons for that are I think a penalty is such a good opportunity to give a striker a bit of confidence when they're so out of form, and they need that. Like being a striker, and when you're not scoring, it's brutal. Like all the pressure's on you, everyone's looking at you. I think a penalty is always such a fantastic way for a striker to break that seal and just and get the goal. And 9 times out of 10, Hogan's fantastic from the penalty spot, but yesterday it was just to be fair, it wasn't the worst penalty in the world. At least it wasn't a soft one that's a nice height for the keeper. It just sadly a bit too much on it and hit the post. But I agree with you in that Hogan has been a complete shadow of himself. We said it a few weeks ago that he's just been completely absent, completely flat since coming back from the World Cup, and I feel for him because it must be horrible for him. We know he's a very good striker because he's proven it on several occasions that he can go on runs where he's hitting in 7, 8, 9 goals in however many games. Um, I do think he should have taken it yesterday because I think it was a good opportunity for him to get that confidence back up. Sadly, missed it, and I guess that the trade off with that is his confidence is even more knocked now. But
Yeah.
hopefully for him, he can just pick it back up.
It's the wonder of hindsight. It's the wonder of hindsight, isn't it? It's like,
Mm.
had he have scored, it's no worry, is it? But had
No
he not
questions
scored,
asked.
then
Yeah,
Bakuna probably should have taken it. But then,
yeah.
had Bakuna have taken it, we're probably saying that Scott Hogan should have taken it. So, penalties, it's just a game of luck, really. Sometimes, really. But yeah, I was disappointed with it, but I wasn't like deflated by it because it was like, he's not the best from the spot, really. He has missed a
No.
few for us over the years. I do think that Bakuna might have been the better choice, really, in hindsight, of course, obviously, because I wasn't thinking it at the time. I was thinking he'd scored. There was a few people around me who did think it definitely went in. He was still celebrating a good 30 seconds after it hit the bar. But yeah, it's one of
That is
those things.
slow reaction time. That
Yeah,
is.
literally.
It's hit the bar 30 seconds later. It's still going skips.
Genuinely, there's a couple of people on my blog, you can see them celebrating. They literally still think it's gone in. But yeah, it was disappointing, but I don't feel like it's. I know it's not. I don't know. It's not unforgivable. I don't think. I don't know.
I think
It's
not
luck of the
putting it on
draw.
target is though, isn't it? Especially as this championship striker who's already on double figures this season. Like, come on, just put it on target.
This is the
You
thing though.
practice it every day.
I'm not the biggest fan of the on target thing either, and I'll tell you why. If Hogan took 100 penalties and he was told to get all 100 on target, he could do it. But with a penalty, you're aiming for the smallest corner of the goal. Like you're not aiming on target, you're aiming bottom right, bottom left, top right, top left. You're aiming for a really small part of the goal. So I think to get it off target, it happens because, like I said, if he was to take he could take 100,000 penalties in a row, get it on target. He wouldn't miss a single one because he just tap it down the middle. But a penalty, you're aiming for the smallest targets in the corner of the goal. It's a complete minefield. There's a lot of pressure on you. So I see why players hit it off target, and the pressure does get to them and all that sort of stuff. But I agree with you, Tommy. It's not unforgivable. It happens. The best players in the world miss penalties. He's just now got to really try and pick himself up and have a good end to the season, because I think if he goes the rest of the season where he's just like he has been since the World Cup or since his injury, it's just going to affect him and the team just in a really bad way.
Yeah, and I'm sure that he's still a bit injured. You know, he does look a bit still. He does
He's
still.
got to be. He has
I,
got to be.
why is Eustace playing him then? Surely
I
he's
don't know,
fine.
but
We've got
this
no
is
other
what
strikers, have we? Deeney's
No.
still unfit.
Mhm.
Kadra's just come
Kadra's
back
just
from
come
injury,
back.
and he's
Yeah.
not really a striker. We've
True.
only got Dukovic then, haven't we?
Yeah,
and
true.
all
No,
else we
good
got.
point.
Cosgrove's currently doing all right at Plymouth, and Lecadillo smashing it for MK Dons. Like, we don't actually have a proper striker at the minute.
Yeah, no, true. Good point. Good point. Maybe so. Then maybe he is slightly injured, and
I think so, because he's not running like you said last week, Zach, and I completely agreed with what you said. Beginning of the season, he was pressing people. He was unreal, pressing, winning the ball high.
best
He was
Hogan we've
horrible
ever
to play
seen.
against. Yeah. So he's got to be. There's something going on with him. That's what we've been saying it for weeks. What's up with Hogan? Why is he not running? Like, and I'm gonna say it's unforgivable because I'm just so bitter about it. But it's one of them, isn't it? Like, he didn't convince me at his penalty away at Swansea, which is why when they said he's fucking taking a penalty,
Yeah, I do
like,
understand that. Yeah.
like it was one of them. I would, where's Troy when you need him? Because Troy, he's either scoring it or he's breaking the keeper's arm half the time. Like,
Yeah.
I'd have
Yeah,
fancied Deeney more than Hogan on the penalty.
Oh
That's for
God,
sure.
yeah.
yeah.
Even though he did sky that one against Hull, I was still like, yeah, it's Troy. He's bound to score those ones.
No, completely agree. He exudes confidence, Troy, doesn't he? You know exactly
He
what you're
knows
gonna
he's going
get.
to
He's
score.
just yeah, 100%.
And if the keeper saves it, he loses 6 years of his life. Like he just eats it that hard.
Yeah, Hull was just a freak accident. That
Yeah,
We
I
penalty.
were
got a bit
simple enough at the point.
overexcited.
Yeah. But there you go. There you go. He scored before it, didn't he? So
Yeah.
Speaking of which, then
Go on, sorry.
let's move on to John Eustace and talk about how we feel about him now. Anybody got a fiery opinion they want to drop into the cauldron
I'm
of
too scared. I'm gonna get a load of hate
Birmingham
again.
City Fire?
No, I still stand by my opinion. Performances haven't been good enough. I mean, come on, 29% possession against second bottom. Come on, 9 losses from 11 prior to this weekend. Like, you'd think I've said the most controversial thing in the world. Performances haven't been good enough. There's no game plan. We're just so flat. Defensively, we're leaking in goals. We're not scoring goals. Any other manager, he'd be out the door by now. But I think because he had a good pre-World Cup and ownership issues off the pitch are protecting him a bit more. I like John Eustace and I want it to work for John Eustace, but something needs changing because performances have been torrid and results aren't getting any better. If we can't pick up more than a point against second bottom Wigan away from home, how's the rest of the season going to go? So I like him. I wanted it to work for him because he's a good bloke and he's proven he can get results. But recently he hasn't been doing that, and it doesn't look like things are going to change anytime soon. If results were decent, but we weren't picking up results, fair enough, because you get that glimmer of hope. Since the World Cup, it's all been poor, all been really, really poor. Nothing has suggested he's going to turn things around. Um, I'd be really sad to see him go because I do like him and I think there is a good manager in there, but it's not working at the moment and we are in serious danger of going down. Should we sack him? I'm 80%, 90% sure we probably should, yeah.
Good point. Very good arguments. Jamie, do you agree? Do you disagree?
I love Eustace, same as that though. That's the issue. I think 90% of managers on this current form are gone. But again, it's really infuriating. West Brom game, we can pull performances out. It's a really difficult situation to be in. The problem is I don't think we'll go down because I somehow still think that there's 3 teams somehow worse than us this season, like in current form. I think we will turn it around at some point. We've got to. Rotherham, I think Rotherham's a must-win for him in his job now because the board is surely going to be, like I wouldn't be surprised if he left this week. But I'm hoping he doesn't. I hope we give him a little chance, but he's had enough chances as well. It's really confusing.
They
'Cause I
might
don't
get
want him to go.
nervous, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely
Because
going to get nervous and breathing down his neck a lot more now.
I'd be, I mean, obviously I'm not basing this off anything, but I'm certain that if they were being investigated as it's been rumoured, the last thing they would want to be is in League One, because then that would ruin all their chances of getting anything out of this potential deal coming up. So,
And especially in a mid-investigation, you don't want to be sacking a manager either. The EFL will be all over that and be like, oh, really? What's going on here? Like,
yeah, let's have a look at that. Let's dig a
oh,
little
what's
deeper with
going
that.
on here? Right.
So it's a tight rope they're walking, really. So they're just trying to play their cards right at the moment. So I feel like they want to keep Eustace and they want to keep us in the championship, of course, because going down is always a massive issue. So I think that's something they'll definitely be considering at the moment.
The argument is who comes in, and I'm a little unsure on that, to be honest. I think that's probably why I'm not 100% Eustace out and more 80 to 90. Purely because Eustace, he has proven he can get results like he did pre-World Cup. He's all, as well who comes in. It's a tricky one, really, isn't it?
I think the next few games is crucial, isn't it? If I don't want him to go, same as that, like we all want it to work for him because he is actually a genuinely likable guy.
And he's proven he's a good manager
Yeah.
as well. He's proven it. He proved it before the World Cup. But since then, it's been torrid, and it's not showing any signs of changing. So yeah,
It's been such a momentum swing this year. We've gone from feeling the most connected to this football club we've felt since Monk and Rowett to just confused again and going, what is going on?
Yeah, it was never going to be stable, though. That's one thing I was always certain about this season. When we were winning when we were beating Bristol City 3-0 at home, winning 2-0 away at Hull, getting a point against Sheffield United, getting a point against Burnley, getting a point against Watford. I was like, this is fantastic, and it's great to be living in it at the moment. But it's just always, that was sort of like a nag at the back of my head, just going, this isn't going to last that long. It was just something that was, I've seen it too many times with Blues. It's just like, when's it going to come? When's the little
Yeah, it's
thing
gonna
going to come?
happen.
And it was the World Cup this year. I mean, with Monk's season, if we're comparing it to other managers that we've felt connected to before, I mean, Gary Monk's was the 5 loss defeat, and then Gary Howitt's, of course, when he got sacked. So, like, the momentum when it swings, and, it's just like, we don't, it's just when's the first hurdle going to come, and can we clear it? I thought we could earlier in the season, because obviously we did have those good results against Burnley and Norwich, but after Christmas we just looked like we were just that we can't seem to clear any of those big issues anymore. They sit on top of us now. Earlier in the season we could overcome them, now we can't, though, because just clearly we can't win any games, we can't get a point in those bigger games.
No, and
Do you
even
know
if you
what?
look at, I was just going to say, even if you look at the 3 wins we've had since the World Cup, which I think was Reading at home, which was 3-2, the 4-3 Swansea, and the 2-0 West Brom, those have been our 3 wins, haven't they?
Mhm.
If you look at Reading, they nearly came back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
If
Thought
you
they
look at
nearly actually scored,
Swansea,
didn't they?
if you look at Swansea, we got 2 very late goals. The West Brom game is the one game, the
Yeah.
only game since the World Cup where it's been an assuring victory. Other than that, every performance has been shaky.
The first half of the Reading game was really assuring, but the second half
very
wasn't great.
Completely fell off. And what's the point if you can't do it for 90 minutes?
Yeah.
So there's been one game since the World Cup where 90 minutes we look brilliant. And to be fair, in that game, I've said it, it's one of the best Blues games I've seen in a very long time. Maybe even ever since I've been a fan. I thought we were unreal that night. Other than that, it has been poor. So
Yeah, we can't deny it's been poor, because if it was good, we wouldn't be in the position we are. It's not like we're playing fantastic football. So yeah, let us know what you think. Are you Eustace in or Eustace out? I think Eustace out is obviously gaining the majority at the moment. It's probably more the popular vote to be. But if you're Eustace in, let us know what you think down below. What's your ideas for him staying, and do you believe that he's done a decent job and is just in a bit of a bad rut at the moment or something like that? So let us know. We're interested to hear about it.
Just before we move on from that, go on, Jamie, because you've been wanting to get your point in for ages. Go on.
Sorry, we have been cutting you up, man.
I'm used to it.
Oh, don't say that.
I was just gonna say, especially the last couple of performances, looking at it, we've lost that wing play a lot, and I think, and this is gonna sound ridiculous, shows how crucial Christian Bielik's been for us. It's almost like we're having to extra emphasise defensively. Like yesterday against Wigan, we sat so deep, but when you've got a Bielik in your defence, we kind of push out a little bit more. I've noticed, we've got that extra aggression on the sides, and I think it shows how crucial that CDM role is for us now. Because who played there yesterday in the holding role?
Was it Chang? Yeah, I think he
Who had a
was.
good
Yeah,
game.
yeah, he did well. He's looking like a good addition off the bench. I feel like he's one of those players who should start off the bench after looking at him in these past few games. He played at Norwich and he played yesterday as well. Did well in the cup against Blackpool. What?
He loves a good booking.
Oh yeah, he's a tasty player. He is. He's very good. He's into the action pretty much immediately when he gets into the game. But I still think he's a sub player. Really, I don't think he should be given a start just soon. I think I said that. I think I said that in a podcast before. I think I said he probably deserves a start. I think that was after the Blackburn FA Cup game.
Yeah, he was very good in that game, yeah.
But I don't think so now. I probably changed my mind on that. I probably do think that he deserves a start off the bench. And I also think Jordan James, again, I mean, how many times have I said this in the podcast? He still needs to come on. Like, there's times in the game yesterday where we bought Hannibal off for Kadra, I think. It was one of those, and Chong off for Roberts, I think it was, or it might have been the other way around.
Yeah, that's another point I want to bring up actually while you're on that fucking note. Who the fuck away at second or bottom of the league brings on a centre back at 1-1 in the 87th minute? Right, I got it. When I heard that he came on, I was like, right. Clearly he's doing this for a long throw or something. Nope, he just brought him on to sit back. What are you? I couldn't.
It shows a negative mentality.
It does.
It shows that we're happy. It shows He's happy with a point away against second bottom of the league. And that alone is simply why we're not going to push forward as a club. It shows it. Bringing on defence, I agree with you, Jamie. In the dying moments of the game, it shows we're more than happy with a point. We're going to sit off and we're going to defend this rather than we need a goal. We need the 2 extra points. Let's go for it. And it shows the difference. And that's what happened against Cardiff. We show they brought on attacking-minded subs.
Mm-hmm.
They showed they wanted it. They were the ones pressing, and they got their goal. Whereas we sat off, essentially saying we're happy with a 0-0 here. So yeah, I agree. Just going back to the Eustace thing as well. I saw a poll on Twitter, and it said Eustace in or Eustace out, and it was 50-50. So it just shows how split Blues fans are.
Massively, yeah. I was thinking that yesterday when I was. Yeah, I was thinking that yesterday when I was at the game. At the end of the game, there was a few, like immediately there was people booing, and then it sort of faded into more of a clap. And Dean came over first. There was a majority appreciation for him, and then Duke as well. The same applause. Then there was some hand gestures and some booing, and some people doing the infamous Jack Kelsall stance now that I've decided to do with his arms out and just like what. So that's yeah, that just the arms out like that. It's like, what was that? I don't know. It's rubbish. No, Jack's more whiny actually. And every single sentence has to involve the word. No, I can't say that on podcast. The C word. But yeah, it's. I mean, that poll is very reflective of how Blues are at the moment and how Blues fans are as well. The divide is enormous. Like, we can't agree on many things. And that's why there are so many back and forths on Twitter and Facebook, and people don't really know what's going on. And we're not frustrated with each other, or at least I don't think so. I think we're just frustrated with the situation we're in. And that's why we're trying to find anything to make sense, and we're not getting anything back.
And there's no right or wrong on this. So I think I'd say Blues fans are a little frustrated with each other. I think because there's no evident right or wrong, like in the Karanka era, Karanka in or out, well, obviously out. With the Eustace thing, because it's so mixed and there's no evident right or wrong. It's contradicting opinions, and I think Blues fans are getting a bit on each other's backs. But look, we're all in the same boat. We all want the best for the club, don't we?
I think the issue is we're still a little bit battle scarred from Karanka as well, because we should have sacked Karanka 2 months before we sacked Karanka.
Yes.
And I think Blues fans were angry about that. Whereas now, obviously, everyone wants to pull the trigger now. But I think I think we'll be okay. I genuinely don't think we'll go down, and I genuinely think having Kedra back's a game changer a little bit. I think Scott does need to rest. I think Beelit will come back soon. Austin was back yesterday. I'm hoping that results start coming our way and we'll be fine. I'd be interested to see what Eustace can do over the summer, because I think it's just been, in terms of our football club itself as well, no one would want to walk into this either at the minute, like we said the other week. We're a pending investigation from the EFL. Mental. It's horrible. We can't even, lads, I'm not being funny, we can't even keep our fucking training ground in one piece, so how the fuck are we going to keep the club up? Like,
let's talk about that. So, for those that don't know, and surprisingly, it wasn't actually as big as news as I thought it would be. I thought it would at least be somewhere near the trending page, as other Blues trends have been before. But there was a fire at Wast, which is our training ground for those who aren't Blues fans, or just don't know anyway. At 2:39 in the morning, fire crew have declared it to be a faulty wiring, I think it was, or definitely an electrical fault that Jamie's definitely not sure about. And it burns the lower floor and a little bit of the upper floor as well. I won't say lower floor just in case it gets us thinking about the lower tiers.
It's always lower stuff with us, isn't it?
But obviously there's a lot of speculation around it, and we can't really talk too much about if it's an illegal thing or whether it's foul play or not or anything, because the fire departments have already declared it to be a fault. But we'll talk about before it was released as is it like a press release or something when they say things like that? It says that this is the reason for it being, but we will talk about what we were all thinking before. So what was everybody's immediate reaction? Because I'm pretty sure we all thought the exact same thing when that happened. What was your immediate reaction?
Jamie, you do it 'cause you're a funnier person.
That's nothing to be funny about. It's not EFL. Well, where's all that fucking paperwork for the owners? Oh, it's burning the fire. Shit.
No,
I'm
didn't
so
did it?
sorry.
Oh, sorry,
Oh, well, we're a bit
fellas.
low on money. Have we got insurance on West Hill? Yeah, fucking burn it. Hey, it's fine.
The
That's
document,
basically what's
no.
happened. Ooh.
We're not saying that's what did happen. That's what we
Yeah,
speculated at the beginning.
Hypothetical.
I'm saying it happened. At Jamie Lawler 1,
No,
2,
he's
3,
not.
4.
Don't
No.
listen to this idiot. He's not.
Oh,
No, I don't know. It's just, if anything, it's just defines how this football club is, isn't it? We can't even get through a night without the fucking training ground burning. It's
welcome
like,
to the
come on.
circus.
Like,
Oh
what-
god,
first
it's
the ground's
insane.
Sums
fucked.
up Blues.
Now the training ground's fucked. Like, what more do we need to do?
It's like you think. I like it. You think Blues have hit the lowest a football club could possibly go, and then just something else happens. It's like, oh, that it was lower. It's like that thing where someone says, it's like that news story. It's man thinks he's lost all hope and then loses additional bit of hope he didn't realise he had.
Yeah.
That's literally Blues. We're as
Yeah.
low as we think we can go. No, we can still get even lower. So
Oh,
it's just.
Bloody hell, this pit goes down for miles. This
Yeah,
is.
I know, it's,
we are, honestly, this club is just ridiculous, isn't it? Like, someone
wouldn't have
cursed
any
us
other
like
way, though.
200 years ago or something, do you reckon, and just kind of put us in the bin, like.
Well, they
we're
did.
the kind of-
They did
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that, didn't they, about when we moved into St Andrews? There was the curse of when we moved into St Andrews about 100 years ago, which obviously led to Barry Fry having a wee in each corner to try and get rid of the curse every single game before to try and get that. But yeah, maybe we are cursed. Who knows?
I think
But we
it's an
wouldn't have
end
it any
soon.
other way.
it's already ended because it was 100.
Oh, has it?
It was in 1906 that we
Ah.
moved into St Andrews and took up the ground there before we moved out of Muntz Street or Muntz Lane. I can't remember which one it was called. So in 2006, that would have been then, because literally, actually, the way I know this is because my first ever game was the 100-year anniversary of St Andrews. So that was obviously the end of the curse then. So
Yeah.
that's
Defo
how I know that.
Defo hasn't. What's going there? There's no way it's ended.
Well, we did win the Carling Cup afterwards.
That is true.
Yeah, but
That
we
is
weren't
true.
playing at St Andrews for that game, so that's why.
Yeah.
We got to the final at St
That
Andrews,
is
though.
true. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true. That is. Who knows? Look.
Maybe
There-
there's been a new curse since then.
Yeah, new curse.
Yeah, it's called Carson Young.
It is. It really is Carson Young. I was
We
just
are a
thinking that.
joke of a club at the minute. I'm sorry, but
We're a
like,
mess.
from the ground up,
We're
it's
a
just fallen.
mess.
You know, the way this is going, honestly, I could see like this Jeremy Dale guy officially like getting the thing for Birmingham City, the 21%, and then their fucking pen running out of ink and there being no other pens in St Andrews or something. That's the kind of
Sign it with
bullshit
your
that
blood.
happens to us. Like, oh, no pens, can't sign it. Sorry, lads, dear laugh. Oh, great, yeah, Sam. Like,
Don't worry, we
Yeah.
bought our own. Flicking
do you know
around
what I
with his fingers.
anything that could go wrong is just gonna go wrong. I'm waiting till I get to the summer and read that the Tilton's just actually imploded on itself and just fell apart. Like,
Wouldn't surprise
fresh
me.
asbestos has been found like in the toilets of, I don't know, like anything can happen.
Somebody doing a press release outside the stadium saying that, oh, we're just taking over the ground. You just hear like this enormous crash behind them. Just
Just the whole
what was
thing
that?
just caves in and falls down.
right.
The whole squad would have been. Everyone's out injured for weeks.
That's the kind of thing that would happen to us as well, though, wouldn't it? Like, we'd be in good form, and then sort of like Chong's twisted his ankle walking out of his car this morning. Oh yeah, great, like, fuck it.
Well, that's what happened with the World Cup, wasn't it? That is literally just what happened to us.
Typical Blues.
Let's talk about the Rotherham game then. So I will be in some very interesting seats, as I said at the start of the podcast. Do you want to know what I managed to get?
Imagine if we said no.
Nah, you're all right.
Talk about the game.
Okay, let's talk about Rotherham.
Nah, go on, tell us.
So I won these at the awards night last season. So I won like a match day hospitality suite. But it wasn't just like the ones that I think there's the Wiseman suite. There's the club captains, captains club. Sorry, club captains. And then there's the here it is, Legends Land and the Jasper Carrot suite. So those are the ones that are fairly, those are the ones that everybody has. But we won Boardroom Club. So this package just includes, this is just what it says on the website. It includes a champagne reception upon arrival, 7-course gourmet experience, private dining. Let me finish. Private dining table with the Boardroom Club, Complimentary bar throughout the day includes a half bottle of champagne maximum per person. Prime position cop directors box seating, post-match man of the match interview, exclusive waiter / waitress and host service throughout the day, match day program and team sheet for guests, pre-match BCFC star of the day interview, a cop car park space, and an optional extra unlimited Verve click £1,000, whatever that means. So that's me on Rotherham. That's going to be Sunday. I'm going to be very much enjoying that.
Look at you. So when we're sitting in the stands and they cave in, you can
Yeah,
just
all
watch from
you
your
chumps.
box with your champagne.
Flicking my peanut shells at you.
Looking down at us peasants. It was screaming because the stands are falling on top of us.
And I'll just be like smoking a big fat cigar and just laying back.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know all the fuss is really. I think that this club's great. Oh, this is nice.
Look
Bottle
at
of
you.
champagne in my other hand.
Look at you. I'll be eating chips and strips or whatever it's called.
I can't lie. I probably prefer that than a gourmet meal, to be honest.
7. Who needs 7 courses? What the fuck
honest.
is 7 courses?
It is. Let me just show you. For a season in Boardroom Club, it is upwards of £3,000 for that.
Who's paying £3,000 to watch Blues? Bloody hell, that is wow.
3,750 quid a season to go and watch it in the Boardroom Club.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's painful, isn't it? Like the charity, obviously we work for a charity partly as well, the rehab, and we get charity tickets off Blues, and half the time I've left the ground this season feeling fucking robbed of a tenner, so I can't imagine £3,000 for a season. Like,
yeah, that's heavy. You're not paying for the football, you're paying for the food and the service and all that stuff.
If you're in the Boardroom Club, you don't fucking care about the Blues that much, do you?
One of my managers had it this season for one of the games, and he said like it is class. But when it's just at the same time, it's just a bit like
it's nice as a one-off, I imagine.
Well,
yeah.
I bet it's nice as a one-off just to experience it, but being in the stands like a proper fan, it's the way to go.
Proper fan didn't go to Wigan yesterday.
Oh mate, I was nothing I could do. I was gonna go seriously because I was gonna go. Like,
Whatever. Yeah.
You
lie all you want.
I'm on night shifts this week. In all fairness, there was no way I was getting to Wigan and back in time for work. Not a chance. You enjoy that vlog, your middle class vlog this week.
Yeah.
Enjoy interviewing Kevin Long or John Ruddy because they're the only people who actually have like tried to keep me in games lately because they're definitely going to be man of the match.
I don't know whether we get to choose man of a match or whether the man of a match is given to us and we can talk.
You get to choose that seat. You get to choose.
I don't know. I don't know.
Whoever
No
gets voted
way.
Man of the match, they interview afterwards. So it's going to be Kevin Long. It's probably going to be John Ruddy.
Kevin Long or John
Imagine
Ruddy.
I imagine if it's Manny Longello, Zach will be going ballistic.
Oh
If
man,
I
I'm
was
gonna
in a
flex in
boardroom
front of him, you know.
And it was solely on me
selfie.
to choose man of the match. If it was solely on me to choose man of the match, like he hadn't even gotten on the pitch, but I go, man, he's been good on these sidelines.
Sammy, you need to get a picture with Manny if you can and just tag Zach in it. Week 5,
I need
by
to,
the way,
like-
Manny, come on, follow this guy, man. Come on.
If Longello does play against Rotherham and does get man of a match, I'm just gonna like as soon as I see it come up on the board or whatever, however we do man of a match nowadays, I'm just gonna start running down the steps and just drag Zach with me, just like you're going with me, come here.
The way we speak about him, he's being like, I'm obsessed with Manny Longer.
You are.
You are.
I do think he's a good player.
You think he's superb?
Superb.
I saw that. Your dad say that.
Criminally
underrated.
They both did it actually.
God say, all right, I'll stop saying super. I need a new word.
No, keep saying it.
No,
keep
alright,
saying
alright.
it.
Super,
Keep
alright,
saying it,
I'll
man.
keep saying superb. Now.
Alright,
I haven't got a catchphrase yet. I need to get one at some point, I think.
Well,
I would say superb's a catchphrase.
so Zach's got
Maybe
superb.
superb.
We're fucking
Anything-
shit.
I'll tell you what, Jamie's not got a catchphrase, but he's got a way of talking about him because whenever he gets angry about something, he gets really close to the screen and starts using
And
his
then,
hands. Why doesn't anybody fucking cross the ball?
I think we need to wrap up because
We haven't talked anything about Rotherham yet.
Let's briefly, mate.
I
cannot stand talking about Blues. Let's do like 5 minutes and then like.
Go on
At least
then.
we get to see Wes Harden again.
That is
Yeah,
true.
player we probably
Anyway.
could do with at the moment.
Yeah.
In terms of Rotherham, again, it's a must not lose. But I'm not a big fan of that saying, because I think every game we should just be going out to try and win. Do I think we'll win? I'm a bit more optimistic in terms of I don't think we'll win, but I don't think we'll lose. I think we'll get a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. Again, sitting on the fence a bit and similar to Wigan, but nothing about that Wigan performance suggested that we're going to win a game anytime soon, and neither have the previous performances, to be honest. I'm just going to go for a nice and steady 1-1 draw.
Jamie?
I think we win 1-0. Just a scumbag 1-0 win, like we need it at the minute. It's something. Should I get close to the mic? Sorry. Something's got to change, and it's got to be. And I love, like we all do, we like Eustace, but I think if he doesn't win, he's gone. We've got to pull ourselves away from this danger. This rut has to end, and I think a lot of players, not just Eustace, players themselves, they know their job's on the line. Next season's on the line here, like, because we're going to become a club that's going to start sacking people off at this rate.
Yeah, well, we are.
Revolving door of Watford. Watford.
Yeah, exactly. We're currently below Rotherham at the moment. So they're on 41 39. They're only a point. They're only a place above us. 7 points off the bottom three. Blackpool are on 32. So a loss would put Rotherham further away from us. Obviously, then QPR, Cardiff, and Blackpool have still got to make up for what's going on Saturday as well. So yeah, we need to win. Simple as. And I think we will, to be honest, because after Wigan, I feel we will. And I don't think Rotherham are anything good. They did play us off the park earlier in the season, but they look like a changed team from what I know. I haven't watched much of Rotherham this season. But of course, I don't think they're going to be that good anymore. I feel like they've dropped off. And it's why they're probably down the bottom of the table still with us. So I'm going to go 2-1 Blues. I think we're going to get 2 goals first, and then they'll get a late one towards the end of the game. So I'm going to go 2-1. That's what I'm going to say.
You know that time we kept clean sheets? That was nice.
That's it. I can't see us scoring many, and I can see us conceding at the moment. So that's just why I'm going with 1-1.
What was the last clean sheet we kept? Was it West Brom?
Yeah.
Gotta be in it.
Yeah, and they were just shit. They were. I think what was the last properly deserved clean sheet we kept?
Oh no, West Brom was 1,000,000% deserved clean sheet.
Really? Because
phenomenal. Oh,
against
mate,
the good side,
incredible against Baggies.
We were, but at the same time, that West Brom were also awful.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You can only down to how we played though as well.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that we played.
No, of course, but you can only play what's in front of you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, West Brom was brilliant. That was our last clean sheet. Prior to West Brom, I wouldn't know, but certainly we were superb. We were fucking incredible against West Brom.
QPR.
That was a good one.
Blackpool?
That was good.
Blackpool.
No, we shouldn't have.
We should have won that game.
Yeah, because we didn't win it. I don't think it was right enough.
Oh, are we I was talking about last clean sheet.
Yeah, we are. I still don't think that's as good as the QPR clean sheet, though.
Oh no! I thought we would. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah.
In terms of like the
QPR
last,
was brilliant. Yeah.
in terms of the best clean sheet this season we've kept.
I still think West Brom was the best clean sheet.
I'll tell you which one's the best one, actually. Millwall at home. That was an amazing game. That was.
What? But that evening I hated because I got there 10 minutes late because of the trains. I had to leave 10 minutes early because of the trains. And it was the shittest game of football I've seen in so long. That was such a depressing evening. I got back to my flat and just sat on my bed and thought, what the fuck was the point of that? What a waste of time. I had to be up early as well.
I'm just going back through the results this season as I'm looking. I just realised how depressing it is.
We've gone through a really great period. So from when we beat Preston on September 3rd, we then beat West Brom away, drew with Coventry at home, drew with Sheffield United away. We did lose to Borough, but we probably shouldn't have lost that one. We beat Bristol City 3-0 at home, Hull 2-0 away. We drew with Burnley 1-1 at home, only lost 2-1 to Blackburn. Beat QPR beat QPR 2-0. Then there was that terrible Millwall game. Stoke away, that was a great game. That was Swansea at home. We got a point out of that, and then Sunderland at home is where it's all started to change, because we could have gone 6th, we lost, and then we're suddenly back into the position we are currently now. Yeah.
Thanks for watching the Bluesfocus podcast.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to wrap it up, really. Yeah. So yeah, this has been the Bluesfocus podcast with me, Tommy Kelsall, Zach, and Jamie. You can follow those guys on Twitter and Instagram with their @at the screen. Zach on Woods Zach at 22. That's weird saying your name backwards. Sorry.
Sorry,
And then
no
Jamie
worries.
Lawler 1234. You can also follow us, Blues Focus, on YouTube, which is our tag is at Blues Focus TV, Twitter Blues Focus and Blues Focus Pod, Insta Blues underscore Focus and Blues Focus Podcast. Fucking hell, I probably need to whittle these down a little bit more. TikTok, Blues underscore Focus, and then at Facebook, we're also Blues Focus. You can be listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, all through the Sports Social Network. Breathe. And yeah, thank you guys for joining me again. It's been a really good podcast. Thank you guys, and keep right on.
Keep right on.
Right.